Hello examination students and parents. As Head of Centre, I will now take you through the approach to centre determined grades for SIA qualifications for Mount Lourdes Grammar School for summer 2021. In this presentation, I will give an overview of awarding grades for summer 2021, reference the Mount Lourdes Centre Determined Grade Policy, reference evidence, disruption to teaching and learning, and timelines going forward. For clarity, the terminology used in this presentation and in the Centre Determined Grade Policy is as follows. Centre refers to the school. Candidate, the student entered for a qualification at GCSE, AS or A2 level. Centre determined grades or CDGs, those are the grades formulated by teachers and submitted to SIA for summer 2021. Awarding, that is the assigning of a final grade for a qualification, and the specification is the document that sets out the details of content to be taught and all assessments for a qualification. This summer, SIA is asking schools to award a grade that reflects the standard at which a student is working, assessed only on the specification content that the student and the centre has covered, so that the grade reflects the student's knowledge, understanding and skills. These grades will be referred to as Centre Determined Grades, CDGs. No algorithm or statistical adjustment to grades will be involved this year. Grades will be based on teacher judgment, using evidence selected by the centre following the alternative arrangements process set out by SIA. Grades submitted to SIA are not final until they are released in August 2021 and may be subject to change. SIA has stated that centres cannot share the centre-determined grades they will submit with students in advance of them being issued by SIA on Results Day in August 2021. The Mount Lourdes Centre Determined Grade Policy. It is a requirement of the SIA process that we put in place a centre determined grade policy and are clear with parents, students and carers from the outset on our approach to arriving at grades for students completing qualifications this summer, the type of assessment or evidence of a student's performance we will use to determine this grade, and the contingency assessments or evidence we will use where the agreed evidence is not available for individual students. The SIA process is clear on the evidence we should use to formulate a grade. The grade assigned to a student must be based on the standard at which each student is performing. This is different from 2020. When centres were asked to supply a centre assessment grade based on their judgment of the grade a student would likely have achieved if they had been able to complete examinations. To ensure fairness to all students, we have been asked to outline in our school's centre determined grades policy the evidence we will use to inform grading decisions. This must be applied consistently across all students entered for the same subject. For example, the History Department has discussed and agreed which assessments or evidence are most appropriate for assessing the level of performance of their students, taking into account disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. They have agreed to use a class assessment, a mock exam, and the SIA assessment resource. Grades for every student completing their GCSE history this summer will be assessed on these three pieces. We can only vary the evidence we use for students who have missed significantly more teaching and learning time and therefore have not covered the same amount of learning as the rest of the class. We cannot consider other sources of evidence solely on the basis that it may indicate a higher or lower result for a student. We appreciate that all students across Northern Ireland have had a level of disruption, and we have adapted our approach to assessment to mitigate this disruption. There is flexibility in place to ensure no student is disadvantaged any further this year. Flexibility is not in place to allow teachers to pick and choose the pieces of evidence in order to maximise a student's attainment. This is to ensure fairness to all students across Northern Ireland. The next slide gives an example of this. A class of 15 pupils are due to complete a GCSE with 3 units of work, Unit 1, Unit 2 and Unit 3. Due to lockdown and school closures, the class have missed face-to-face teaching of parts of the course and have only completed Units 1 and 2. One pupil, Pupil A, has missed another 6 weeks of school on top of this due to illness and self-isolation and has only completed Unit 1. We must only assess our pupils on the parts of the course they have completed. Therefore, the school will base their centre-determined grades as follows. So the full class will be their assessments or evidence will be based on Unit 1 and Unit 2. Pupil A assessments and evidence will be based on Unit 1. Mount Lourdes Grammar School wants to ensure that we use the most appropriate evidence that reflects the attainment of all of our pupils and will use the following types of evidence. Please note, this is a generic list to accommodate subject-specific differences. Mock exams, which relate to the SIA specification. Formal assessments taken under high controlled conditions, or we sometimes refer to those as class assessments. Coursework tasks, if applicable to the specific subject. Controlled assessments, if applicable to the specific subject. The SIA assessment resources for 2021. Pre and post Easter assessment, performance, oral evidence, practicals, recordings obtained under high or medium controlled conditions. In exceptional cases, due to illness or adverse circumstances, where a pupil has been more significantly disrupted in comparison to her class and the agreed evidence is unavailable, we may also include the following. Homework, remote assessments. This alternative evidence will be proposed by individual teachers in consultation with their head of department and the senior leadership team link person. We will not use or consider work tasks completed with private tutors, work not aligned with the requirements of the SIA specification, results of other external exams or qualifications, for example, graded music exams. Similar to previous years, there will be a process for students who would like to review their results. This is called the post-results service and provides an opportunity if an error is made for that to be rectified. More information will follow on the SIA post-results service in the coming weeks. Mount Lourdes will share the details and process for this with students, parents and carers as soon as it is published by SIA. We will guide and assist students and parents through this process as we would in any other year. The timelines for this process are as follows. 21st of May 2021, grades will be submitted to SIA for A2 and AS grades. 4th of June 2021, grades will be submitted to SIA for GCSE qualifications. 10th of August 2021, AS and A2 results will be issued by SIA, and the 12th of August 2021, GCSE results will be issued by SIA. If students or parents have any other queries, please contact me, Mrs. Cullen, via the main office telephone number 028 66 3 22265. Thank you.